Well, obviously coming out of the surprise smash hit of the year, Obsession, all eyes are on, and I always mispronounce, is it Indy Navarrete or Indy Navarrete? I always get it wrong, I'm sure. But the girl who played Nikki in Obsession, all eyes on her, right? She's probably going to get a Best Actress nomination at the Academy Awards this year, and well deserved. But when I saw Obsession, I saw it late. When I saw Obsession and I talked about it, I said, yes, she deserves all the attention that she is getting 100%. I said, but this Michael Johnston kid is not getting enough attention for just how good he is in this movie playing Bear. I kind of compared it to the Paul Dano situation in There Will Be Blood, where Paul Dano was remarkable in that movie, but nobody ever talks about him because Daniel Day-Lewis gave what I consider to be probably the greatest performance in film history in that movie. It gets totally overshadowed. And I really believe one of the reasons Obsession works so well is because of Michael Johnston. Well, it looks like we might be seeing him on the big screen again soon, because there's a report going around. This one comes to us from Hollywood Reporter saying Obsession star Michael Johnston in early talks to join the Mummy sequel with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. This is what they write. Say Michael Johnston is circling his first big role following Obsession becoming a box office juggernaut. Johnston is in early talks to join The Mummy, the Hollywood Reporter has confirmed. If the deal makes, he would join Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz, who starred in the late 1990s and 2000s takes on the Universal monster property. Universal had no comment, but the movie would keep Johnston in the Universal family, as Obsession is from the studio's specialty label Focus. Scream and Ready or Not filmmakers Radio Silence are directing for an October 15th, 2027 release date. I could not be happier about this. I think this kid is great. Now, granted, I have a small sample size. I haven't seen him much outside of Obsession.
Sure.
But this movie could have felt very unbalanced if Indy was the only one acting her ass off. If it wasn't for his performance across from her, I don't think she would have looked as good. And I don't think the movie would have been as good. I think he anchors the film, Obsession. I think he's absolutely fantastic. I'm not saying he's better than she was. I'm just saying I think he gets woefully overlooked. When it comes to when people talk about this. I thought his performance was absolutely top-notch, and I'm excited to see him in this. And I'll be honest with you guys, am I feeling nostalgic for The Mummy Return? Yes. Am I super excited about The Mummy Return? Not really yet, but his addition to it, if this deal closes, and it sounds like it will, it ups my interest quite a bit. Anyway, Rob, you saw this report. I know you have your thoughts about Obsession as well, but what do you think about the idea of Michael joining The Mummy? And good move for the movie. What do you think?
Well, I mean, even though it's a low-budget indie film, Obsession is a star-making movie.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got your showy role, and she's going to, but go on to great success. But he also, if he wasn't sympathetic and you weren't with that character, the movie wouldn't have worked. And while, obviously he wasn't as much fun as she was, he held his own in a movie that's made over $400 million worldwide. So regardless, it's a smart business decision to add him. And I think Universal, it was the right move because, studios have internal casting people. Like when I was working at Warner Brothers a long time ago, it was Marion Doherty who had discovered like James Dean, who was, she was the casting director of Warner Brothers. And she tended to cast the same kinds of people for internal Warner Brothers movies. And with Obsession being Focus Features, I think this is a great move for him because he's not carrying the movie, but it's a chance for him to shine at the studio level, which I think it's great. He gets to do, the movie's not resting on him. So even if the movie doesn't turn out to be as great as we hope it is, he can still acquit himself if he gives us a great performance. And he has opportunities to do more. He can be a little bit broader. He can be a little funnier. He can do something more with the part to stand out, depending on what it is. I mean, maybe he's a demon or something, or maybe he's just a guy. I don't know.
He's probably going to play Brendan Fraser's son.
Yeah, I'm sure that he is, but that's still, he might get possessed. He might become the new Mummy. He might become Mordred to his Arthur. I don't know, but I still think it's a great move. And what it also shows is I like seeing that Universal is behind him.
Yeah.
That's a great vote of confidence, and it showed, in this business, it used to be like when we were growing up watching our favorite filmmakers, sometimes they'd have hits, sometimes they wouldn't because they weren't spending $100 million. And it's nice to see somebody now rewarded for their work, and they get to step up into a little bit of a higher rung in the industry. And I give Universal kudos for that.
Sean, what do you think about this move?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only surprise here in a sense is that it's him getting the role before Indy, since she's the talk of the town, but I'm sure that's because she's got a stack of scripts on her desk. She's deciding which one she wants to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, as what both you said, that movie only worked because both of them nailed their roles, and he had to be sympathetic. He had to be someone you could still root for while he was making those choices, which is not easy to do. And the movie only works because he pulled it off. And even kind of putting him on something like The Mummy, like I think even for Universal, he's probably a great steal right now because people know his name. They want to know what he's going to do next. You could pay him 20 times what he got paid for Obsession, and it's still a steal in terms of what he probably brings to the table at this particular moment in time. And to what Rob said, it doesn't put the weight of carrying a $200 million movie on his shoulders because everyone is there to see Brendan Fraser back in the role. And so it's just like, it is a nice transition into blockbuster filmmaking. And so it feels like a win for everyone. And it's just exciting to be observing someone having their breakout moment right in front of us.
Yeah.
By the way, let me kick a hornet's nest here. All right. Because Rob, you mentioned like he played the role of Bear pretty sympathetic, and I saw a bunch of people in the live chat saying Bear is not sympathetic. I've been seeing this take online that people think is like some highfalutin hot take. Bear is not the villain of Obsession. He's not. Nikki is also not the villain of Obsession. The villain is the frickin' Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yeah.
Like that's the villain. Like I had this debate with a friend of mine the other day. I said, look, if Bear is guilty of being a bad guy because he wished his crush liked him too, then everybody on the planet. And the moment he realized in the movie that, number one, the wish actually worked, and that he realized it was actually having a negative effect on her, he tried to undo it. He didn't say, who cares if it's hurting her? He tried to undo it. He tried to get them to take it back, and it didn't work. And at that point, both he and Nikki were just caught in this thing that they couldn't get out of. And again, I love the movie. I think the ending is a little bit modern horror formulaic and extremely predictable, but I still love the movie overall. I think it's great. But no, Bear was not the villain of the film. Was he stupid? Yes. But it is what it is. Anyway, guys, question is for you. The dude who played him was fantastic, and it sounds like Michael is going to be joining Brendan Fraser in the new Mummy movie. I'm excited to see it, and I love the fact that he's going to be getting some of the attention that he deserves. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts.